Just before we start this video, I wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers. There's 1,000+ of you guys. I really appreciate it. It gives me more need to push for more better content, better footage, higher quality, and do as many DIYs as I possibly can, do a lot of drifting content, and etc. So thank you again. Keep them coming. Tell your friends, tell your family, subscribe to Superior Drift Garage. Thanks again. Enjoy the show. Welcome to Superior Drift Garage. In this episode, I'll show you how to take a Kid Trax basic ride-on that will do about 4 miles an hour and make it go much quicker, much better, and actually slide crazy like a drift car. It's a full build of the Kid Trax Police Drift car. First steps of the angle kit is basically making those brackets so that way the previous area that was going to was basically right here. All that room was taken over, so the tire couldn't touch, so we had literally pretty much no angle kit. Right now I can move those in and out and up and down, so this is what we're going to do before I tack them in. We'll test them out on the car itself and just pretty much test it, mark them with a marker where what's going to be welded, take it off, re-weld, reinforce, and go back and see if it's good or not. Here's my official mock-up. It's all so. So we have this extended by 4.5 centimeters from both sides. I extended also the, I would say, control arm in that case, simply so the more tire can hide. Unfortunately, I can't really turn it too much right now because we are rubbing right here, so obviously some trimming might be necessary, but it's not a big deal. Judging by the profile of the body lines, the rubber piece is pretty much on the outside, and so is the rubber piece. Oh shoot! There you go. And the rubber piece is on the outside with a little bit slightly towed out, just like in a drift car. So that should work out just perfectly. But now we're running into issue where at full lock, this tire would still rub against the sides. I don't want anything to rub because then it kills your speed and prevents you from going fast. So what I decided to do is make those little stops that will not allow the wheels to turn more. With the actual limiting screws, that limits me to about 78, which I'll take it. It's 78 is better than what it was originally. So original angle was about here. Obviously it's nothing, and right now we got full lock, which will not allow the tires to go more. This is our distance between the arm and the tire, or the wheel. Let's call it a tire. This is pretty much our full lock right now to one side and the other side. There we go, very nice. Obviously there's no engines, nothing in there yet. I'm gonna give him some speed. We'll see how the angle kit works, if it actually lets him slide longer. So we'll see how that works. So what I have done, basically I made 2 adapters sort of. It's to raise the cage or the bottom structure and actually be able to mount the structure into the angle kit and the whole entire front. This is my basically beginning step of making the chassis. Next thing that I have is those spacers that I made. They're going to go right here in front, and they will raise the body about this high from where it should be.
How you put away even about your gas? How you put away even about your gas?
Decision was made to actually weld another rod to reinforce the steering, so that way we for sure will not bend this, or even when there is an impact to the side of the wheel, because they're sticking out so much, even at full lock, this should not give up and bend in any other way. So the chassis basically starting to look more of like a chassis itself, since it's taken off the upper chassis or the actual body. So those are the welds I gotta do now, and once those are in, we'll try to get more info as far as reinforcement. But before I do any more welding other than this, we'll have to cut that up. So another reinforcement is done right here. It's for the main bar that's going to hold the whole body, and everything is still hot. I shouldn't be touching it, I know that, but I'm still doing it.
Got me running in a circle. I'm just trying to find my way back to you. What happened to us? I'm in a circle. Back where I started, I'm stuck in like blue.
Some parts came in, like the pillow bearings, some locks for the axles and stuff, so they don't move. Everything is 1/2 inch. A custom adapter for this sprocket that's going to go on here. I believe it's 54 teeth. I'm not sure exactly, I have to double check. Yes, there's going to be some cutting involved right now, and re-welding and redoing it. So my idea, just so I don't screw up this whole structure that I have here, nothing gets bent or messed up, what I'm going to do is I'll cut pieces, basically just straight pieces, 6 centimeters, so like 2¼ inch from each side, weld them on. Once that's welded on, I'll build my way backwards from there, making sure that I have enough room for the pillow bushings. I adjusted the frame a little bit, basically made those indentations for the wheels to be able to hide more. So this is going to be our ride height, which is also adjustable by raising or lowering. So I can always raise the height ride in case I necessarily have to. And reinforcement between here and here, just to box off this area for the motor. I mocked up mounting plates for the bearings, so that's obviously going to sit right here and it will be permanently mounted. There's a little bit of adjustment forward back, but that's only enough for me to adjust the chain tension, I guess. Our motor will be sitting pretty much in this little box that I've made, somewhere, if everything goes well, around here. We've got a clean straight shot for the chain to go to the sprocket, which this is the old motor that was in this particular car from the get-go. I've removed the actual gear that goes onto the tire, which is our pretty much an adapter that sits right here, because that's what is going to be used to propel each wheel, obviously. This particular ring is a 1/2 inch because our shaft is pretty much a 1/2 inch. It's a locking kind of a collar ring, or whichever way they call it. So that's what's going to be mounted to the plastic sprocket adapter that comes out of here. So this is the original piece that came out of this engine. Let's toss this engine out. Now, this particular piece still mounts to here. It will propel the wheel, and I have a locking collar, which is this, welded onto the actual metal plate, and I actually just drilled holes from the inside, fed bolts through, and have them locked. I also made that side over there. When you spin it, it will spin with the whole assembly. So, engine's mounted, chain is on, the tension is pretty good. It probably will loosen up a little bit, but also the engine is not bolted in all the way, just bolts are freely sitting in there. And everything works quite okay for now. Needs to be all bolted in and tightened, because right now it's not, obviously. And we'll go into the next step. It's probably reinforcing the floor with maybe like a crisscross. I'm putting sheet metal or some kind of aluminum plate, which will actually be the home of the gas pedal floor. So what I decided to do, it's kind of spent too much money on this thing, I would say. This is a 26 gauge piece of steel. Should be good enough and light enough for my X chassis bracing deal that I have just sort of put together right now. It's not welded. It's pretty much really extremely tight, so that way I can weld it pretty good. So I picked up a 1/2 inch square tubing, and this 1/2 inch square tubing will go between the reinforcements and right here to create a box. Once we have this box locked out, it should be extremely sturdy. It will support any weight you throw at it, meaning like adults, me, anybody. I'm hoping this will handle at least 200 pounds, if not more. Our flooring is actually too big, which is great, but not necessarily too big. This plate that I showed before, I made some cuts in the corners. So basically this plate will actually slide in and lock in place. Well, electronics are hooked up in a way, because we're using part of the reverse. To have reverse, we're using this handle temporarily. Next we have our ignition wire. Everything is pretty much hooked up over here to the junction box. And then next we have two batteries, 220s, so that gives us 40 volts, and they are bridged together. Controller. We do have the 3-speed, 1, 2, 3 for different speeds and stuff. And we also have the hooked up pedal actually mounted to the floor temporarily. For the time being, we're gonna turn the switch. Batteries are here. Let's lightly press the throttle. Oh. We got motion in reverse. So this button means we're gonna have forward. Okay, give it a little more. All the way. Good. Let's see, gear number 2. Okay, it's a little faster. Oh wow, that actually moves pretty good. And gear number 3. Gear number 3 seems to be the weakest. All the electronics are pretty much just sitting right here. Wired 2 batteries for 40. nothing's mounted. It's just pretty much temporary to see if it works. All right, give it more. Give it more. He's more worried about the doors than driving. Okay, let's go for a test drive.
My eyes are closed in the shadows.
Alright, we're gonna have a donut test. Let's see. Haha! Made those brackets still pretty hot. I gotta stop touching the hot stuff. Basically made the bracket over here that will house the electronic controller right here. We'll just bolt up here. There's going to be a panel right over here in the front, sort of like this, with all the switches that I'm trying to extract from the actual device. Like for example, I managed to extract this one for the gears. That's gonna be placed right here. I will cut the hole, make sure it goes in here.
All the pain, all the hurt, all the lessons I have learned. I am stronger now. I won't let me down. Oh, my enemies will think they won, but I'm here to stay. Destiny will overcome. No, I am not afraid.
Very nice. There you go. You just go. Very nice. Good. Perfect. Bravo! Wow! Very nice. Oh, perfect. Overcooked it. Okay, let's go. Go slow. Three, two, one, go. Full power. Jesus. Step on it. Full power. Wow. Nah. Currently, this breaker was not here.
Space for us to breathe. My head is quiet now. I can rest in peace. Enough, more than enough. Feeling the rush, feeling the rush. Burning in love, burning in love. Two souls united. This roaring blaze is soaring free. If you ever get tired of love.
Unfortunately, we actually broke an axle. Now,